Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is January 7th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Pacific Northwest to the upper right, Hawaiian Islands bottom left. Very weak frontal system moving through the area. Gonna be a reoccurring theme here. We're gonna have a couple more of these over the next few days, trying to approach the Pacific Northwest. No big precipitation maker here coming in the short term, and then we'll take a look at the extended forecast to see where things are headed as we go through the end of or the second half of January and on in through February. We'll take a look at that as well. I get a lot of questions here on what is the best weather station to buy and for the price, right around $330. We can get 10% off if you click on the link down below. You can do much worse than the Tempest weather system. It is very fun to watch. You can click on these individual locations. It stores all the data for you in the cloud, updates every few seconds. It'll let you know when it starts raining at your house. Got a lightning detection system with it as well. So again, highly recommended weather station. Now, taking a look at Spokane, you can see overcast skies for the lowland. There's still some fog out there and some low clouds and just some light precipitation amounts, but you could see some freezing drizzle and some light snow for the higher terrain. And then Thursday and Friday, mountain snow and lowland, wintry mix there, but yeah, and nothing too crazy coming up here in the next few days. But if we take a look here at the North American model, you can see some of this precipitation across Vancouver Island as we go through tonight and into tomorrow morning. Just light precipitation amounts associated with that. And then we scroll off in through Thursday morning. Now we're looking through Thursday afternoon. Not much in the way of precipitation as we go through Thursday afternoon. Another weak frontal system hanging out there across Vancouver Island. Now, taking a wider look at things, this is hot off the presses, the European 12Z run. In fact, let me update that to make sure we have the entire run in here because it is actively loading. There's that weak frontal system that goes through tonight and tomorrow morning. Deep low up into the Gulf of Alaska, yet another one. Cast this frontal system across Pacific Northwest as we go on in through the day Friday. You can see there's going to be some precipitation here, and not too much in the way of wind, a bit of mountain snow. And then that will be moving out as we go through the day Saturday, kind of keeping some showers around as we go all the way through Sunday morning. And you can see that storm track up into the Gulf of Alaska here, kind of leaving us high and dry here across Pacific Northwest. Maybe another weak frontal system there as it moves through, not much to speak of. And then we're looking off into the future. We've been seeing some of the runs include some Arctic air. And you can kind of see this Arctic high moving down way off into the future. It's barely even worth mentioning because this largely stays east of the Rocky Mountains. It would not be affecting the Pacific Northwest too much there. But the model's been going back and forth, having some cooler Arctic air across western portions of Canada versus the westerlies just kind of taking over across some of the west coast of North America and the Pacific Northwest, and maybe bringing some precipitation chances back in, but not much in the way of Arctic air. So what's going on here is that you can see the ridging is going to be coming up over the next few days here for the Pacific Northwest. Storm track is pointed north, and we keep waiting to see if this jet is going to retract a little bit more, and we're going to get some, big systems out here that really start to shake things up and give us some more variable jet stream into the Pacific Northwest. But you can see this jet just wants to keep marching across the Pacific Ocean here and not really bringing us a chance at getting some of that cooler weather down into the area. And then as you see, as we scroll off into the 300-hour plus out, you can see all that Arctic air will be shunted off to the east, and the westerlies not far away from the Pacific Northwest. So this morning's European model there in the 12Z did not look great for Arctic air chances in the Pacific Northwest. But again, it's kind of been changing run to run. And if we take a look at 5,000 feet, 850 millibars, taking a look to see what could be coming, we get a frontal system rolling through this weekend, kind of typical stuff there. But what we're looking for is where this Arctic air is going to be going through the extended forecast. And again, you can kind of see it well off to the east here, affecting the eastern United States here, as we don't see any sign of that here across a lot of British Columbia or Western Washington. But again, we'll be watching that daily. And I got some more stuff to show you here because this is last night's European ensemble. So this is the average of all 50 ensemble members. Again, we're looking at 5,000 feet. And we're going to scroll off into the extended forecast and see what was going on with that Arctic air. And you can still see it had that cooler signal, the bulk of that colder air staying east of the Rockies. But this would be, it could bring some interesting weather here to the Pacific Northwest if this were to verify. But again, this is last night's run, the 12Z European Ensembles are not out just yet. But again, you saw what the 12Z control run brought, not much in the way of cold air. And if we take a look at the artificial intelligence, last night 06Z, you can see that frontal system going through the Pacific Northwest. Then we hunt off way into the extended forecast. Some cooler air starts to arrive a little bit here, but largely stays, again, Rocky Mountains east across the eastern portions of the United States. And again, not much of a sign here for bringing that cool air down into Western Canada. Now let's take a look at the GFS and see what it says. 12Z. So here we go. We're scrolling off in towards Friday. We get that frontal system rolling through here. You can see some chillier air aloft, but not too big of a deal. A little bit of mountain snow with that one. And we hunt off into the future, and you can see we start to try to bring some of that cooler air back in here. But what we need is for this Arctic air to really set up over Western Canada and British Columbia and kind of sag south over the region. This is not a lowland snow event here for Southwest BC, Washington, or Oregon. And then you see really no sign of Arctic air except way up north across Alaska, Northwest Territories, and the Yukon, and we just continue to wait and see if any of this is going to get and approach the Pacific Northwest. Here we go with the GFS ensemble mean as of last night, the 06Z run. Put this into motion, and if we scroll all the way out here, you can see it does still show kind of that chillier signal for portions of the western U.S. But again, a lot of that staying east of the Rocky Mountains there. So really not much help with the last night and today's runs. As you can see, things are absolutely all over the place. Now, what's been going on since the beginning of December? If you look very closely, you can see this is that jet stream across Pacific Ocean, just kind of helping flood a lot of the west coast of North America here with generally warmer than normal air. So what we're waiting for is a bit of a jet retraction here and get the more variable jet stream and some troughing back in here to the Pacific Northwest, allow some Arctic air to try to get down into Western Canada, or that's what at least all the snow weenies and weather lovers here in the Pacific Northwest want to see. We just have a very mixed signal through the extended forecast and not much sign of it just yet. Now, taking a look at Quileute, looking out 15 days, you can see there's just very slim pickings here as far as windstorm potential is concerned as we go out towards January 21st. Astoria, similar signal there, just absolutely very little in the way of windstorm potential for the next couple of weeks. And a reminder, if you're off in the backcountry, check out avalanche.org. You can click on these individual locations here and get all kinds of detailed information about what to look for as far as avalanche conditions are concerned. And I clicked on one of them here. I believe this was out towards Wenatchee, East Slopes Central. And you can see considerable for some of the higher elevations and tells you if it's moderate or low. And it's got all kinds of good stuff of what to look for and observations and forecast discussions and whatnot. And snow levels doing pretty good as far as the Pacific Northwest is concerned. And Oregon doing quite well. Some areas up over 200% of normal snow water equivalent there. You can see right near normal here for some of Western Washington, some of the Cascades there as well, but not doing too bad. Once you get out towards Montana, some places are below average. Here's a 6 to 10 day. Look at the swath there for southern portions of the country. 6 to 10 day precipitation. There should be no surprise with what we just looked at. There's the 8 to 14 day, but this is in some extreme doubt. I mean, things are just all over the place. There is not much confidence at all in this forecast as we go on into January 20th, 8 to 14 day. And if we take a look at the extreme extended forecast here, this is the European weeklies, and it still continues to show this, although this ran, on January 5th, the afternoon of January 5th. These model runs tend to lag behind quite a bit, but it still shows some of this cooler weather here for Western Canada. So, we can still get snowfall in towards February and sometimes even in towards March. So hope is not lost by any means yet. We're just still trying to wait for a more clear signal. Here's the CFS daily. This one was a little bit newer, and you can again see some of this cooler air as we go towards the end of January. But, we'll just have to wait and see what this continues to show here because we're looking so far out that it's nothing you want to get excited about. We look at the GFS ensemble as of last night. This is for Bellingham International. You can see vast majority of the ensembles just have pretty typical stuff for this time of year, but there are a few of them that do have some colder weather getting in there, but they are far and few between. And you'll notice the mean temperature there is just still stuck right into, a more modified territory. Some of the ensembles do get a bit chilly there, but again, there's still some warmer solutions, so it doesn't mean too much. Same thing for Spokane, a 2-meter temperature. This is at the surface. You can see, a couple members, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 30 that show some cooler weather getting in here. And you can see that in some of these dashed lines showing the potential for that. But the control run in the mean definitely do not show that cooler air getting down in towards eastern Washington, for example, in this case. Looking at the 15-day precipitation anomaly on the European Artificial Intelligence, clearly that signal is quite strong there for a pretty big precipitation deficit as we go through the next couple of weeks. And the GFS shows something similar for the next 10 days also. So anyway, wish I had better news for the snow weenies across the region here. And who knows, things may still change up. The models are flipping and flopping back and forth. So we'll just continue to watch that, break it down day by day. Hope you guys are having a good day otherwise, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.